The fire crackled gently in the hearth, casting a warm glow across the room. King Shahryar sat in quiet contemplation, his mind still processing the lessons of the previous night's tale. He had learned much about pride and folly, but Scheherazada's stories were far from over. Her voice now carried a new warmth, as she began the tale of three daughters, each with a fate shaped by the choices they made.
O king, you have heard of rulers and merchants, of powerful kings and their flaws. But not all stories are about men of great wealth or high birth. Let me tell you now the tale of the three daughters, each as different as the stars in the sky, and each facing her own trials in life. Once, in a small and quiet village, there lived a humble merchant named Amar. He was a man of little wealth but great kindness, and he had three daughters, Maha, Samar, and Yamama. Each daughter was as different as the seasons. Maha, the eldest, was practical and wise. Samar, the middle daughter, was ambitious and passionate, and Yamama, the youngest, was gentle and thoughtful. Amar loved them dearly, and he would do anything to ensure that they were well taken care of. As the girls grew, Amar could see the qualities that would shape their futures. Maha, with her calm and steady nature, often took on the role of caring for the household, making sure that everything ran smoothly. Samar, on the other hand, dreamed of grand adventures and sought to prove herself in the world. And Yamama, though quiet and reserved, had a heart full of compassion, always tending to the needs of others. One day, Amar fell ill, and it became clear that his days were numbered. As he lay on his deathbed, he called his daughters to his side, his heart heavy with the thought of leaving them behind. "My dear daughters," he said, his voice weak but filled with love, "I know that the time has come for me to leave you, but I have one final gift to give each of you. When I am gone, I want you to each choose a path in life, but know that the choices you make will shape your futures in ways you cannot yet understand. Choose wisely. Maha, my eldest, I give you the gift of wisdom. Use it to guide your decisions, and remember that a steady heart is more valuable than the riches of the world. Samar, my middle daughter, I give you the gift of ambition. Let it drive you to achieve great things, but be cautious, for ambition without balance can lead to sorrow. And Yamama, my youngest, I give you the gift of compassion. Use it to bring kindness and peace to others, but remember that sometimes, in order to care for others, you must also care for yourself. With these gifts, my daughters, I send you into the world. Be kind to each other, and never forget that family is the greatest treasure you can possess." And with those words, Amar passed away, leaving his daughters to face the world on their own. In the days that followed, the three sisters each went in search of their own paths. Maha, with her gift of wisdom, chose to remain in the village. She married a kind farmer, and together they lived a peaceful life, raising children and nurturing the land. Maha's life was one of simplicity and contentment, and she became known for her wise counsel and steady hand. Samar, filled with the ambition that burned within her, left the village and traveled to the city. There, she worked tirelessly to build a fortune, and soon she was known as one of the wealthiest and most influential women in the land. But as her wealth grew, so did her hunger for more. She climbed higher and higher in society, but with each step, she felt more and more alone. The higher she rose, the more she sacrificed her relationships, her happiness, and the simple joys of life. Yamama, the gentle youngest daughter, took her father's gift of compassion to heart. She traveled from village to village, offering help to those in need. She cared for the sick, fed the hungry, and soothed the troubled hearts of those she met. Yamama's kindness was her strength, and she became beloved by all who knew her. Yet, despite the love and admiration of those around her, Yamama often felt a longing deep within her heart. She had given so much to others, but had she given enough to herself? As the years passed, the sisters' paths began to diverge. Maha's life in the village was filled with peace, but she often wondered if she had missed something by not pursuing greater ambitions. Samar, though rich and powerful, found herself surrounded by loneliness and regret, and she began to long for the simplicity and love she had once known in the village. Yamama, though content with the good she was doing in the world, began to feel weary and wondered if her heart would ever be healed from the endless demands of others. One day, the three sisters found themselves reunited at their father's grave. Each of them had come alone, seeking comfort and solace in the place where they had last been together. As they stood there, they looked at one another, and for the first time in many years, they truly saw each other. Maha spoke first, her voice soft but steady. "I have lived a life of peace, but I wonder if I have missed the chance for something more. I have all I need, but I wonder if I should have reached higher like Samar." Samar, with a sigh, replied, "I have reached higher than I ever imagined, but I find no joy in my wealth. I am surrounded by riches, yet I am alone. I wonder if I had stayed in the village, like you, Maha, if I would have found the happiness I long for." And Yamama, with her gentle heart, spoke last. "I have given so much of myself to others, but I feel empty inside. I wonder if I have neglected the most important person, myself. I gave so much love, but perhaps I should have learned to love myself as well." And as they spoke, they realized that each of them had been on a different path, but that path had brought them all to the same place. They each had a lesson to learn, and in learning it, they would find true happiness. Maha, the wise sister, realized that peace was not the absence of ambition, but the ability to balance ambition with contentment. Samar, the ambitious sister, realized that wealth and power could not replace the love and connection that made life worth living. And Yamama, the compassionate sister, realized that in order to truly care for others, she must first care for herself. And so the three sisters returned to the village, where they lived together in harmony. They found that their gifts, wisdom, ambition, and compassion were not separate paths, but interconnected parts of a whole. Together, they created a life of balance, and in doing so, they found the happiness that had eluded them for so long. And so ends the tale of the three daughters, O King. May it remind us that in life, balance is key, and the greatest treasures are those found in the heart. Balance. Yes, it is the secret. The world is full of choices, and it is only when we can harmonize them that we find peace.
When Scheherazade heard the rooster crow, she decided to stop telling stories. Shahryar smiled and realized that Scheherazade would not tell any more. Of course, he had a new date the next night to continue enjoying the stories of his beautiful wife, Scheherazade. King Shahryar leaned back in his chair, his eyes fixed on the flames. After a long silence, he finally spoke.